It happens in life that you firmly believe in certain things, but in reality it turns out to be completely different. This is especially true for culinary dishes. You are sure that the salad was named after the Roman emperor, but it turns out that he is not even connected with him. You thought that sushi was invented in Japan, but what if you're wrong?
Oops!
The history of the creation of the dishes that we will consider today will help us open our eyes to many things and even destroy some myths and stereotypes. Pizza. Many people think that pizza was invented in Italy. Initially, this dish was an unsightly flat cake baked with vegetables and cheese, and was included in the daily diet of the ancient Egyptians. Then this recipe was borrowed by ancient Greece, and from there it came to Rome, where this dish got its final modern look. The Romans constantly improved the recipe and began to make flat cakes in the form of an even circle. In the 16th century, tomatoes appeared in Europe, and thanks to this, the first pizza was cooked in Naples in 1522. Right here, flatbread baked in the oven began to be combined with tomato sauce and various toppings, and it quickly gained great popularity among the common people. And the bakers who prepared this dish were called pizzaiolo. But for all its merits, pizza has been the food of the poor for centuries. Wealthy Italians did not serve it to the table in their homes, and did not offer it to guests at receptions. This prejudice was destroyed by Queen Margaret of Savoy, wife of the Italian King Umberto I in 1889, when she asked to serve a dish to the royal table, which her subjects ate at that time. Everyone was shocked, but the request was fulfilled. Pizza for the Queen was prepared by pizzaiolo Raffaele Esposito. He offered the Queen 3 types of pizza with different toppings. Most of all, she liked the dish with tomatoes, basil, and mozzarella cheese. This pizza was named Margherita in honor of the Queen, and today, it is one of the most popular dishes both in Italy and in other countries. Caesar salad. Did you know that the Caesar salad was not named after Gaius Julius Caesar, but after the American chef of Italian origin, Caesar Cardini? During Prohibition, the now famous inventor of the dish opened a small hotel restaurant in Mexico, in the town of Tijuana, located right on the American border, to get around the ban on alcohol. Such geolocation allowed Cardini to trade alcohol calmly, without violating any laws. Therefore, there were always many visitors. And on one of those days on July 4, 1924, on Independence Day of the United States, there were so many people that there was almost no food left in the kitchen, and all the shops were already closed. And Cardini, without thinking twice, built a salad from what was at hand. Caesar took a salad bowl and generously rubbed it with garlic. Then, without chopping, he tossed the romaine lettuce leaves into the bowl and drizzled them with the best olive oil he had. Then he added the yolks from the eggs, which were boiled in boiling water for 1 minute, grated the Parmesan, squeezed out a little lemon juice, sprinkled herbs for flavor, dripped Worcester sauce, poured out a handful of wheat croutons and mixed everything vigorously. When hungry diners tasted the dish, they were indescribably delighted and spread the rumor about Caesar's signature salad throughout the district. It may be said that the next morning Cardini woke up famous. Caesar salad by 1948 was already so popular that it was officially considered the public domain of America. This prevented Cardini from registering his creation under his own name. He had to come up with other brands. Cardini, original Caesar. Modern Caesar salad is very different from the classic. Often, for satiety, pieces of boiled or fried chicken or shrimp were added to the salad, but there are also options with ham and even crab meat. A dressing for the sauce is frequently made on the basis of mustard, yogurt, or mayonnaise. Cherry tomatoes are often added to the dish. Interestingly, in the original version, forks were not served with the salad. It was eaten with the hands, as the romaine leaves were not cut. Instant noodles. Despite the fact that noodles were invented in China, instant noodles were invented in Japan. In the mid-20th century, a Japanese businessman named Momofuku Ando founded a salt company. At this time, in Japan, which lost in the Second World War, famine reigned. People were forced to stand in long lines for food. Therefore, Ando was very surprised when he heard that the Japanese Ministry of Health was literally urging people to eat bread made from American wheat received as humanitarian supplies. Noodles were a much more familiar dish for the Japanese, but the power of Japanese food companies was not enough to supply the entire country. Ando saw this as an opportunity to expand his business. He began experimenting with noodles, trying to make the dish delicious, inexpensive, and easy to make. Having tried various methods of preservation, salting, and even smoking, he eventually came to the conclusion that the most effective of them is frying in palm oil with further final drying. It was enough just to pour boiling water over such noodles, wait a few minutes, and after that it was already ready for eating. In 1958, Nissin Food Products' first product was introduced to the public under the name Chicken Ramen. Ramen is a traditional Chinese and Japanese noodle soup. At first, the new dish was expensive and regarded as a delicacy, but within a year, prices dropped and sales began to grow rapidly. In 1971, the company launched its most successful product, which later became a worldwide bestseller, cup noodles, noodles in a styrofoam cup. It was also possible to pour boiling water into such a cup and eat from it, without using auxiliary dishes. Now it is one of the best-selling instant food products. And in 2000, answering a question about the main Japanese invention of the 20th century, the Japanese unambiguously put in the first place not ultra-modern computers or electronic devices, but a simple and nutritious dish familiar to almost every modern person. Pasta carbonara. Pasta carbonara is one of the most popular dishes from Italy. This is a very tasty and satisfying dish that few people refuse. But not everyone knows that the original carbonara recipe did not contain cream and bacon. These ingredients have nothing to do with the real carbonara. The classic composition of the dish is egg yolk, Roman pecorino cheese made from sheep's milk, Parmesan, black pepper, and, instead of bacon, dried guanciale pork cheeks. One version of the origin of this recipe says that carbonara is food for the carbonari, miners who mined coal. They always had with them a basket of pork pieces, eggs, cheese, and pasta left over from the evening. After the war, in the 60s and 70s, a lot of restaurants began to open, and cream was added to the pasta. They equalized all the tastes and colors of the products, and made it more satisfying. And they started adding bacon, simply because it is more affordable. Sushi. Most people think that sushi is a traditional dish in Japan. But this is a myth. Wrapping raw fish in rice was originally used as a method of preserving fish while in transit. But sushi in its modern form appeared only in the 70s in the USA, thanks to a Japanese chef named Ichiro Mashita, who worked in a restaurant in Los Angeles. In an attempt to invent a new interpretation of traditional Japanese dishes, he came up with the California roll. The new dish perfectly suited the American public and began to gain popularity. Soon, other chefs picked up the trend, adding their own ideas to the original recipe. By the way, the process of its improvement does not stop to this day. Today, sushi is served in many restaurants around the world, including Japanese ones, but it is still wrong to attribute this dish to traditional Japanese cuisine. There is a stereotype that sushi is only eaten with chopsticks. Chefs really appreciate it when you handle their chopsticks with care, but it's not necessary. According to the rules of etiquette, sushi can be taken with hands pre-washed in water, which is served along with the dish on the table. If sushi is taken by hand, then you need to use your thumb, index, and middle fingers. It is necessary to adhere to the rule you cannot leave a bitten-off piece on a plate. Sushi should be eaten whole. There is no need to get carried away with soy sauce. True connoisseurs eat sushi without soy sauce, as the rice is already seasoned with vinegar, sugar, and salt. Well, that's all for today. Subscribe to the channel. Put likes and write in the comments below the history of the creation of which dish surprised you the most. See you soon.